God, He has never met a problem that is too big for Him to handle. Your problem might seem too big for you, because it is. It's too big for you to handle. And if you'll let God help you, you can get through it. I know there's a big push these days to, go see a therapist, talk about your issues, figure your life out. I'm not saying don't go see a therapist if that's what you need. I'm going to talk a minute about putting your problems on repeat. You talk about them. Every time you're in your therapist's office, you sit there, you tell them about all the trouble you had growing up as a kid, and how this person hurt you, and how your parents were terrible, you were abused. I'm not saying those are not things you have to talk out and get through. I'm saying that repeating them over and over and over and living in those past traumas, you're not going to get better. You're going to stay there. Your life is going to be stuck and defined by something terrible that happened to you. You become the victim, and you stay a victim. In a marriage, there's arguments. Sure. But you're not going to find me going around talking to anybody about an argument that I had with my husband. I just won't do it. I won't tell you garbage things about my husband, because you know what? In that moment, I might feel those garbage things. I might feel that he wronged me, but I am now telling you, or telling a friend, something that I'm going to forgive my husband for. Doesn't mean that person's going to forgive my husband. That person now has a different view of my husband. And that's wrong, because my husband is not that moment that we had a fight. I am not that moment that I had a fight with my husband. I do not want my husband going around telling his friends that we had a fight. That is silly. I'm going to honor my husband with my words when I speak about him. And I'm going to honor myself when speaking about my life and my past. I'm going to move on, not play a victim that I was hurt before, but play the victor. I'm victorious in this life, and I'm going to make it the best life I possibly can, but I can't do that if I'm bad-mouthing my life and living as a victim. We can overthink every situation, every traumatic thing that happens to us. You overthink it, you're playing it in your mind. Then you start speaking it with your mouth. Then you're just living in the past, living in that moment that wasn't your fault. Traumas are not your fault. Bad things happen, and we can be victorious and overcomers by not deciding, I'm just going to be the victim in this. I'm going to just stay here and tell everybody I see about my problems, about this and that. Nothing ever good happens. And it doesn't help you. That's the bottom line, because our words are creating this environment around us of victimhood. And I'm going to live a life victorious. Regardless, I'm going to be a victim to anything. If something bad happens to me, I'm going to overcome. I'm going to put it at the feet of Jesus. Lord, you know this was a terrible thing that happened to me, but I know, God, you can heal me. You can take care of me. You created me, and you are stronger and more powerful than this trauma, this bad thing that happened to me. It's a much happier life, a much more joy-filled life, not living as a victim, but living victorious, overcoming the bad and enjoying all the good life has to offer. We are on this earth for a purpose, and I'm not going to live in a victim mentality where it's everybody else's fault. I take responsibility for my issues, my wrongs I might do to somebody, or something, and I take responsibility for them, and I just go forward, living victorious, because that's what God wants for us. Every single one of you, whether you love Jesus or not, He wants the best for you. We can have it in this life, because it's only for a moment. This life is so short. Why live in the past instead of reaching for the future? The future is created by what we're saying now. I am healed of that trauma that happened to me. I am healed of that hurt from that guy who broke up with me. I will not sit here in my sorrow and stay here. I will feel it, and then I'll pick myself up and become victorious, because I'm not going to give power to those people that hurt me. I'm not going to give power to my past, and it defines and controls my future. My future is bright. My future is beautiful. I am not going to live in the past. These are just things I tell myself. And you can tell yourself them too. And you can get over your past and make your future bright.